Good everyone, with this video today we have a updated premium review on the Strv M41 S1. This is a light tank that I reviewed quite a while ago and has had a very minor change which constituted the updated review, which is the price. But before we get into that, before I obviously begin, in the description below there's going to be a couple of timestamps. You can skip ahead to the weaponry, armor, mobility, etc. And if you want to, you can just skip ahead straight to the gameplay if you wish. Without further ado, let's get in and let's take a look at the Strv M41 S1. So what's the price change then? So before, obviously, I get into the weaponry and armor and all that, this is something that has only changed very slightly. This has gone up from 700 Golden Eagles from when I last reviewed this vehicle to a grand total of 850G, which is about £1 more if you want a bit of a, shall we say, a currency sort of increase. Now, that really isn't much, considering that you can't even get 10 Freddos for that anymore, but I suppose it's something to consider when it comes to the actual price of the vehicle. So before I begin, there is a couple of differences, which I didn't actually mention in my previous review, of the tech tree one to the premium one. So the premium one has a slight worse bit of side armor, as you'll see here. This has 20 mil. This is the tech tree variant, and this has only 15, but this is also a little bit taller. This is a slightly, I think this is based off the 38TF. This is just a little bit lower because they've refined the turret. I'm not 100% sure. It's quite fun. Like, it's quite unusual to find detail about this vehicle, and obviously the S1 as well. But still, the only other difference is the engine has been improved. This has 165 horsepower, whereas the premium one that you'll be buying, if you choose to buy this vehicle, has 146. Obviously, this is an earlier variant, so it makes complete sense. Overall, that doesn't really affect the vehicle too much in terms of like offensive capability, but obviously the hit to the mobility can be slightly noticed due to the extra 20 horsepower or so. But of course, with that, you do gain zero point 0.4 of a ton, so take that how you will. Anyway, let's get into the weaponry, armor, and mobility. So, armor. This is a light tank, so this isn't exactly going to be very good, but at 2.7 for this thing's armor is actually not too bad. With 50mm on the front, with most of the front layers being actually 50mm, not like half-assed it, it is actually pretty strong in terms of its armor for a light tank. But obviously, it does have a couple of weaknesses, which are right here. This is only 39. There is a slight bit where the gearbox can potentially eat a shot, but it's unlikely if they're shooting here. Additionally, as well, you'll see the turret ring. This is actually where I get penetrated in the gameplay, which you'll see. This is a very easy weak spot, and even 50 cals at close range can go through this. So take with that what you will. Fair enough, in the case of a 50 cal, the turret ring might stop the shot, but that's not guaranteed. So do make sure to take that into consideration. Coming around to the side of the vehicle, pretty much most of it is 15mm, with the turret being 20. The commander's hatch is not actually a weak spot. It's very unlikely that someone... Well, it actually depends on the APAG round. I believe it's Russian, and I think this own 37 that can actually explode inside of here, so no one really shoots up here, but just be mindful, sometimes Russian guns can. Coming around to the rear, it's 15mm and then 35 on the rear of the turret, so for a light tank, it's not too bad in terms of the armor, but, well, as I said, it's a light tank. You're not really going to be using this thing for that purpose. Fair enough, in the gameplay, I kind of do that, but, well, I didn't really get hit until I obviously died, so there is that. Coming into the armament of the vehicle, we obviously do have the stock round, which is god-awful. This is one of the worst 37mm shells I've ever had the pleasure of using. Pleasure being a strong word. This is a shell you'll never be firing, because this is the stock round, and if you're firing this out of this thing, why, is all I'll say. The only shell that would be acceptable to fire that isn't the Sabo is this, the SLPGR M39. This has 55mm of penetration, which, albeit won't be doing a lot of work at 2737, but against some of the lighter vehicles that you can see in down tier, this will definitely help out with post-penetration damage. It only has 15 grams of TNT equivalent, but it's more than enough to deal with some things. Obviously, against some of the more tougher foes, you're going to need this, the 3.7 centimeter SLPPRJ M49. This is the armor piercing discarding sabot. This is a very solid shell. It does have problems with the actual shell shattering, I've noticed, which can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but against most of the targets you're going to run into, it shouldn't do that, because obviously it's a saber and it's kind of designed to defeat armor. There are very few tanks that this shell will not penetrate at this BR, and trust me, the sabot makes this thing actually quite strong to some extent, but the post-penetration damage is something to consider. The post-penetration on this round is extremely poor, and yeah, it's not great. Like, obviously in the gameplay it does do decent work, but to be fair, I was already pre-aiming for known gunner spots on vehicles, so I can't really count it per se, but it is enough to obviously deal with crew members and obviously other components if it hits them, but don't expect the saber to be like what happens when you hit a guy with a 120mm French round, let's put it that way. The machine gun is your typical 8mm machine gun. It'll come in handy and can definitely take out some light crew, and obviously penetrate light vehicles because this vehicle does not have access to a high explosive round. Overall though, other than the mobility being a bit lower than the tech tree variant, which obviously can affect it slightly, but in the gameplay you won't really see much of a problem, this thing isn't really too bad. Whilst the price increase is a pain for it, I don't think this really affects it, because chances are you're going to buy the starter pack anyway, which comes with the Fokker. So personally, I don't really see the issue with the increase in price, but that's me. This tank is still it's pretty strong to say the least with its sabot, but you have to know where to shoot with it. And with 14 degrees of gun depression, as you'll see in the gameplay as well, this gun can do a lot of work when you put it into a good position. And with scouty powers, as Harry would say, this can definitely do a lot of work. Anyway, I'm going to have you into the gameplay now. Really hope you enjoyed seeing the Strv M41 get its updated review, and I will see you all on the next one. Well, let's see how we do on a bit more of a close range map. I'm not expecting a huge amount, but maybe we might be okay. We'll soon find out. We'll drop smarty, danger close. It's a shame there's not a lot of cover here, otherwise I would probably sit near this sort of area. I can hear something to my right, danger close. Yeah, I can hear a puma. That's him gone. Too slow, son. They should have alerted their team. But I've probably been scouted for all I know. It's a shame I don't even smoke, otherwise I would move up here. Yeah, there's something right there. Behind that wall. Reverse. Don't want him seeing us. Yeah, there's Hans on top of that Marder. How did you miss that? You know what? I'm not going to question. This guy in that corner, BT. I'm not going to push directly towards him. That gives him the advantage. Like I say, quick reactions can definitely keep this thing alive in a good situation. gotten rid of the enemy scouts quite early, which has definitely helped our cause. I've got a Sherman here to help me out, so we've got some firepower. Thank you, Sherman. Scouted him. I'm glad I've got a Sherman backing me up and not on the enemy team. He's got the armor I need and the firepower, because the firepower on this thing can be very hit and miss, depending on the day. Okay, let's move up. We've got some Shermans pushing with us now. We've got the Sherman in front of us, we've got the Sherman behind us. And it's a fellow Joe, so he automatically gets plus 10 brownie points. Can I breach? I can't quite get a shot in the hull, I don't think. Maybe if I load the APHE. Let's try that. Yeah, that worked. Shit, Marder, danger close. There we go. Coax coming in handy. Sorry, Hans. I am carrying a bit too much ammo before anyone asks. Like, this is not the ideal ammo count. But, well, I didn't know. I just completely forgot to sort out my ammo load, pretty much. That's a bomb. Thankfully not for me. Where armoured car. Armoured car destroyed. Keeping my head down from these bloody planes. Like I say, having that 15 degrees of gun depression is really useful. We've pretty much been able to push the entire enemy team back. Oh, fucking hell. Got his gunner. A13. See, Harry can't claim the A13 as an armor, just bounce a fucking saber around. Alright, well I don't have a stabilizer, so I'm not going to rush him. I'll just wait for him to do that. What plane is that? I-16. That's fine. That is going to be a tough nut to crack, but luckily we've just made him an unappealing target. If anyone's looked in the kill feed for that guy's name, you'll realise why I made that awful pun. Alright, let's move up. We've still got the cover here to support the team, so... Come on. Ow! Where's that little ship from? That hurt quite a lot. Oh, he's behind there. I see him. Well, he might be over there. It's one of the two. Probably was the B-27. They're just waiting for us to come forward now. They want us to push. Okay, he's dealt with. Well, I think we can just sit here now and just like scout stuff that spawns and just get the points there. Is that friendly? That... What the fuck was that for? You sneaky little bugger! Fair play! Took out my teammates without me realising and actually nailed me. Nice work. Alright. Fair play to them. Let's go get our cat back. Like I said, that was a good push by them. Like, they took out our team. Obviously, we've got reinforcements there now, but, like, that was smart. Very well done. Looks like the cap's now secure, but we'll still try and head back there just to add an extra tank to the line. Certainly proves though, like, this thing can do a lot of work. You just obviously don't take as much Sabo as I have. That's just me forgetting, and well, we're not likely to run into an enemy tank, so I couldn't be bothered to change it again. So you'd probably want around 30 to 35 APDS and then about 10 of the APHE at most. That's what I would probably advise. Okay, Archer's dead. That's good. I mean, fair play for trying to play an Archer on this map. That's friendly. Good. Yeah, I don't think we need it, but that's fine. I don't mind that. Hold up. I heard that. Teammate just died on the flank. Oh, he's found it. Good work, teammate. Good work. And good work to the team overall. We did very well. Do I have a shot on that guy? Not an easy one, but I could get a shot. Nah, that's unfortunate, but there we go. 9 kills, 2 assists, 1 death, which I don't mind. Not a bad run. This thing is definitely like one of the easier options to like get you into the Swedish tech tree. But if you do want something that is a bit more of a, shall we say, a bit like a revolver, like you're firing shots and then you have to wait a bit to reload, get the Saab when it comes back, because it can depend on the day, but yeah, this is definitely a fun option and it can do quite a bit of work.